So we're here at the beautiful WESTIN Lagunamar in Cancun, Mexico. And today I'm going to share with you 11 tips for your next trip when you come to visit. Hello and welcome to Destination Timeshare. I'm Jeremy. Today we're going to be talking about 11 tips for your next trip to the WESTIN Lagunamar. This was actually originally 10. I had 10 all planned and figured out, nice round even number. And then I noticed another one that's kind of important to point out, so I'll save that one for the very end. So let's get into this. We're going to go around and through the resort here and tell you about these 11 tips that you need to know when you're planning to come to the WESTIN Lagunamar. All right, I'm here for the very first tip down poolside, and that is to make sure you bring your pool floats from home with you. We bought these on Amazon. These are kind of those sling type of floats. They're incredibly popular here. We've noticed a lot of people have them. Very popular over at the Infinity Pool. So make sure you're bringing your pool floats with you. You probably don't want to buy them here because it might be difficult to find and you're probably going to have to pay a lot of money for them. So order them ahead of time, ahead of your trip, pack them in your luggage and bring them with you. And that leads into tip number 2. Don't try and huff and puff to inflate these like I did. I wasn't smart enough. I knew they had it, but they do have air compressors at the different pool towel huts where they will help you, or in fact inflate your inflatables for you. So take advantage of that at the pool towel huts. Tip number 2 is have them fill them for you. It might save you some huffing and puffing to get them done yourself. I've now moved up here to our villa balcony to talk about our next set of tips. And the third one just happens to be about these. And you might be wondering, what are these exactly? Well, these are Mexican pesos. And the tip is, in fact, to bring some of these with you. Now you can, of course, also bring US dollars. And anybody here is willing to accept US dollars for when you purchase goods or maybe go to a restaurant. But you're going to find you'll get the best conversion rate, at least when paying with cash, by using pesos. People around the pools and around the resort, restaurants, anybody who helps you out with service, they're also more than happy to accept US dollars as well for tips. But you'll save them a little bit of trouble from having to convert dollars into pesos by just tipping them in pesos to begin with. Now you might be wondering, how do you go about getting some Mexican pesos? Well, there are several ways you can do this. What we usually do is we order a few $100s in pesos ahead of time from our local bank back in the United States. We find Chase gives us a pretty good exchange rate, but there are other banks that you can go to, of course, as well. Your local bank will probably be able to get you Mexican pesos. Tend to have to order them. They don't usually have them on site, but they'll get them in a day or two, and you can bring those with you. Then you can also, of course, stop at an ATM. There is a bank and some ATMs in the airport where you can get pesos, but those tend to be really, really busy. We noticed that when walking through the airport on arrival. So you can also go to the ATM here at the Lagunamar, or you can go to one of the many ATMs around the hotel zone. Be careful though, try to avoid ATMs that are just in convenience stores or are not associated with a major bank here in Mexico. HSBC is a bank that I see quite a bit, so there are some HSBC bank machines around, and I believe in fact the one downstairs here at the Lagunamar is an HSBC bank machine. So you can get some pesos that way, or of course when you're out shopping at a major store or you're at a restaurant, just use your credit card. That is by far the best way to get the best exchange rates, is just pay by credit card. You have the protections of a credit card, and you're not having to carry around a lot of cash. We primarily just use the cash for tipping or for shopping with small merchants or small vendors. So that's a tip. Bring some pesos with you so you're ready. You have some tips for your transportation. You have tips for your driver. You have tips for the bellman that help you with your luggage. Maybe if you've ordered groceries, you have some tips for that. Have tips for all kinds of stuff. It's definitely a tipping culture here, and you're best to be tipping in pesos. And that's also going to lead us right into our next tip, is to bring small bills, whether maybe you brought US dollars or you brought pesos. Take those small bills down to the pool with you when you're going to the pool, if you're wanting a pool lounger. There's all kinds of great pool concierge, as they call them, that will help set up your pool chair. They'll put towels up for you. They'll roll them up like a little pillow as well for you. So you want to be able to provide them with a tip for the service that they're providing. So definitely, with some of those pesos that you've brought with you, have some small ones, maybe even have the front desk break them up for you if they can. Take those down to the pool with you when you're getting a lounge chair, so you can tip them for the great service that they provide. All right, now for tip number 5, how to get your hands on more pool towels, more towel cards. When you check in, they're going to give you essentially 1 towel card per person. That really isn't enough, because I need a towel to sit on, I might need one for a pillow, and I need one to dry off with as well when I get out of the pool. So you might need to get at least 2 towel cards per person somehow. Well, to do that, you can maybe ask for extras when you check in. If that's not successful, another way is to come down early in the morning, go to the infinity pool. They have pool concierges there to help set up chairs, put towels out for you, and they usually put several towels on your chair for you. Obviously bring some pesos to tip them as well. And then when you turn your towels in, well, you'll get some more towel cards. Another one is over here at the small pool, they have a towel hut over here, and sometimes they're taking care of people that are getting photos taken, and the towel cards are just there kind of for the taking. So turn in a towel, take a couple cards, but shh, I didn't tell you. All right, now for tip number 6. That just happens to be, you should bring with you some type of insulated tumbler. Maybe it's a tumbler like this, maybe it's even one with all kinds of cool stickers like that. Well, did you know you can actually get stickers like that using the link and coupon code in the first pinned comment down below? Maybe decorate your tumbler just like this, and you can save 10% using that coupon code while you're at it. And while you're here, you'll notice a lot of people have these types of tumblers. Whether it be a stainless steel tumbler like that one, maybe a Yeti, maybe a Tervis. Well, people have them all around the pool. It really kind of helps to keep your drink cool, and you can fill it up in your room, bring it down to the pool, enjoy some beverages there. Or while you're around the pool, maybe you've ordered a drink from the pool bar, well, you can dump it into that. You don't need to worry about using the plastic cups. Maybe people splashing and getting water in your cup. Well, that's going to keep it all safe and protected and cold too. Now for tip number 7, and it's a good thing we're here on our balcony of our villa, and that is to request a high floor. Let me turn the camera around and I'll show you why that is. All right, so I've turned the camera around here to show you why you want to request a high floor. And hey, look, down there, it's one of the viewers of Destination Timeshare. But we do have all of the buildings here at the Laguna Mar tend to face towards the ocean. And of course, not all of them, though, will have great ocean views. And I guess instead of calling it the ocean, I should be calling it the Caribbean Sea out there. It is a beautiful day here, beautiful views out there as well. But you want to request a high floor because a number of those lower floors, maybe even some as low as just the 4th floor, might have views blocked by palm trees or even by the little hut out there that is the Viento restaurant. So you want to have a high floor so you have a good and fairly guaranteed view of the pools and of the Caribbean Sea. The resort is kind of set up like a W because we're in the bigger section over here. There is kind of a smaller section over that way. And like I said, it's a W that kind of faces the ocean. Well, all of those high floors are pretty much going to have good views. Now, I did do another video of some buildings and some rooms and some villas that may not have all those great views. I will put a link to it up in the upper right, so go check that out and see which ones those are. But if you're requesting a high floor and you're getting it, well, you're going to have views hopefully just like this one. Now keep in mind, requests are never, I repeat, never ever guaranteed. So obviously somebody's going to have to be in those lower floors, but hopefully it's not you. But maybe if you're here on a cash stay booked on Marriott.com, or you're here on a promotional package, you might have a better chance of being on a lower floor and maybe not having such a great view. Okay, now for tip number 8, and that just happens to be this. You might be wondering, what the heck is this? Well, it happens to be a travel router. We found this extremely valuable on our trip. You can get this on Amazon.com. It is only maybe $60, $70. And the reason we brought it was, well, kind of more as a backup, but it proved very useful because essentially their internet here doesn't work very well. It kind of sucks. And this is one of the things we don't like about the resort. And I did that in a likes and dislikes video. I'll put a link to that right there, so check that out as well. But their Wi-Fi isn't all that great, so what I did was, when we had problems keeping a connection and keeping a signal, well, I just hooked that up and it performed a little bit better. We still have some problems, unfortunately, but sometimes just rebooting the router fixes those as well. So I really suggest bringing a travel router, and if you have problems with the Wi-Fi in your villa, well, just connect it up and you might get better signal and better internet connectivity using the travel router and their wired connection. One of the few resorts, in fact, that still has wired connections in the villas. Most of them kind of going the way of 100% Wi-Fi and no wired or no LAN connection. So great tip, bring a travel router if you have one, and if you don't, go out and buy one to bring with you. All right, so we just got finished up at the breakfast buffet. That's actually another video that we will have here shortly, if it isn't already out when you're watching this. It's all the food options here at the Westin Lagunamar. I'll put a link to that right up there so you can check it out. But here I am outside the main lobby and the concierge area to talk about tip number 9. And that just happens to be the concierge. Take advantage of your resort concierge. You will be assigned somebody ahead of check-in. You'll get an email from them, and they're going to be offering you transportation options, giving you different information prior to your arrival. So if you want to book transportation through the resort, you can do that through them with the One. That's the transportation company that services this resort if you're reserving your transportation through them. However, the resort concierge is good for so much more. They'll also give you, if you're an owner here or if you're even a Vistana owner, an owner discount card. Good for 20% off dining here around the resort. So all food options, unfortunately, doesn't cover certain beverages, if you know what I mean. So take advantage of your resort concierge for that. They can also book tours for you. So if you want to go see some Mayan ruins, maybe you want to go to an eco park, you want to do something else along those lines, well, take advantage of them for that. And they might even ask you to sign up for a timeshare sales presentation, owner update, sales pitch, whatever you want to call it. Take them up on that if you want, or just tell them no thanks. But I did do a video on how to get out of a timeshare sales presentation as quickly and painlessly as possible. So of course, check that out up there too. They'll even make restaurant reservations for you, and they'll even give you a list of preferred restaurants that provide discounts and maybe special offerings for Westin Lagunamar guests when you show your room card when you dine. A lot of those options are across the street at La Isla, but there are a number of restaurants up and down the hotel zone where they've negotiated special discounts for us guests here at the Westin Lagunamar. All right, now for tip number 10 for your stay at the Westin Lagunamar, and that is just to happen to come over and check out the Mayan ruins that are not really on property, but you access them through the Westin Lagunamar Resort. There is an entrance at the north end of the resort to Yamialuam and what is Scorpion's Temple. Come up here, check it out. They say it dates back somewhere between 1200 and 1550 AD. So a little bit of history here in Cancun with these Mayan ruins. Have a nice little relaxing trip over here. Nice breeze because we're up high, great views out to the Caribbean Sea. Be careful though, it is a little bit of a treacherous walk, some big steps, some rocks, and maybe even some iguanas too. So check this out, the Mayan ruins right next door, easy access, no reason to miss it during your stay at the Westin Lagunamar. All right, I'm now down here in the lower traffic circle for the last tip, tip number 11, that bonus tip I guess you could say. And it has to do essentially with when you're maybe coming back to the resort on foot, maybe across the street, you're at a restaurant doing some shopping at La Isla. Well, what I've noticed is a lot of people come in to the resort and then they essentially take that sidewalk up the hill. Not exactly sure why they do that, because essentially what we have over here is an elevator on the ground floor. You can walk down there and straight onto the elevator. You can even take it to either the lobby level, then navigate maybe to your building from there, or you can take it directly to whatever floor you're on and then navigate through the different buildings to your room or your villa. So when you're here at the Westin Lagunamar, you're coming back to the resort on foot, don't hike up this hill here when you can just go in here and take the elevator. Now maybe you want to get a little exercise, I understand that. Feel free then, take the ramp here. There's even another one on the other side if you're staying at the other side of the resort. So if you don't know about it, you really should. That's the elevator here at the ground level. I really do hope you liked this video, these 11 tips from the Westin Laguna. If you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. It really does help out these videos. And to see another video from here at the Westin Laguna, well, check out this one right here. I'll put a video there. You're going to want to check that out next. Thanks for watching. And remember, until next time, the best destination is always a timeshare.